Resolution 940, which is to encourage the state of Georgia to host the world's largest startup pitch competition. And for those of you that do not know what a pitch competition is, if you've ever seen the show Shark Tank that's on ABC, is where companies come, and a lot of times they're pitching to get seed money so that they can complete their project, bring it to market. We actually have Rodney Sampson here who signed up to say a few words, who worked with ABC's Shark Tank. So he should have some insight as to the pitch startup competition world. But I'm happy to have Chairman Stevens as a supporter of this and Representative Caldwell. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak. So right now, the state of New York is the home to the world's largest startup pitch competition, and Mr. Sampson can talk a little bit more about his work in that area. But it's just to encourage the state to be the largest startup pitch competition host. There's no reason why the state of Georgia could not overtake New York and all these other cities that are doing startup pitch competitions. We have the talent that we need down here, and is something that I think the state of Georgia, if we're going to continue and boast that we are the #1 state to do business, we really need to look into hosting the world's largest startup pitch competition. But that is my bill in a nutshell. And if nobody has any questions, that's it.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. #1 state in the nation to do business for 5 straight years. And, one of the things that we're looking at is small business and new and innovative ways, and I applaud your efforts on this. Have you worked with the Georgia Department of Economic Development? Have you talked with them at all, Commissioner Wilson or anybody over there about this?
I have not. I have worked with them in the past on startup pitch competitions. But this is something that I've worked with the startup community on, particularly with Mr. Rodney Sampson, who is heavily involved in the startup tech space, and came up with sort of the parameters of this startup pitch competition. But I would be hopeful that the Economic Development Committee would support the largest startup pitch competition in the state of Georgia.
Great. Who is number 12? Is that you, Micah? Okay. Representative Gravely.
Thank you. Where is Shark Tank currently filmed? And second part of that question is, are they going from East Coast to West Coast? Like for instance, if they're in New York right now, if that's where their main studio presence is, are they traveling out to California? Has Shark Tank ever filmed in Georgia?
I'm not sure. Maybe
Mr. Simpson, would you like to join her at the podium?
And just to clarify that this was just an example. So if we did our own pitch startup competition, it would be separate and apart. But I just wanted to give a preview for those of you that didn't know what a pitch competition
Absolutely.
is. Mr. Sampson.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good. For context, I worked for Mark Burnett Productions for 2 years on the hit show Shark Tank. So it's currently filmed on the Sony Pictures lot as a reality show in California. Every year, over 250,000 people apply to be on the show, but they have a team that they send across the nation to literally, host casting calls, go to business conferences, go to colleges and universities. They literally scour the United States looking for the most unique ideas, and they bring them back to a reality show. We like something similar to that, but to bring them back to the state of Georgia. Okay. Did that answer your question? Oh, they have hosted casting calls here in Atlanta. When I worked with the show, I made sure that they brought them. We did one at Atlanta Tech Village. We did one at 200 Peachtree in downtown Atlanta. And they also did one at Clayton State University the last time they came.
So it would be a fair statement to say that you guys would be more than willing to look at the possibility of taking advantage of the Georgia tax credit for film and television.
Well, I'll gladly text that to Mark Burnett. I'm no longer a part of the team, but absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Where's your button? It's not working. Now you're on. Chairman Taylor. 25, you're good. Well, start it again. Try it again. No, it's working.
Okay.
Well, what happened?
So again, Mr. Chairman, the subcommittee for film and entertainment, we'd like to see this obviously done here, take advantage of Georgia tax credits. We've got we're number one in the world in feature film production now, but also want to bring these other productions in-house here in Georgia, not far from now. So, your comments on that?
Yeah, so the pitch competition that's specifically related to this resolution, all the whole pitch competition would take place in the state of Georgia. So it would be Georgia companies, Georgia corporations, Georgians that actually would participate wholly in the competition. So we wouldn't have to worry about, them going other places because Georgia would be hosting the pitch competition.
I don't see any more questions, so we'll go ahead and entertain it. Have a motion and a second to do pass Representative Kendrick's resolution. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You have your bill, your
Thank you.
resolution.
Thank you so much.
Chairman Hitchens.
We ready?
You ready? Go ahead.
LC
HR 1079.
1076. LC 450031.
Okay, somebody's just got a typo on the agenda. That's okay.
Okay, this-
Go right ahead.
It's a pretty simple resolution. I represent the majority of the Georgia Ports Authority in Savannah. I'm the subcommittee chairman of the Ports and Local Government and Transportation, and I think it's incumbent upon me to bring this to somebody's attention. Back in 1999, they started planning to draft the harbor from 42 feet to 47 feet in Savannah Harbor. That's to allow the new Super Panamax ships that are going to be, they've completed the construction in Panama Canal, so they can now transit there. But they can't come into this port of Savannah. Savannah is the fastest growing port in the United States. There's a terrific amount of business. This year, we received $52 million in federal funding. It's going to take about $100 million a year to finish the project in 2020 like it was originally planned. For every year that we we don't get $100 million, we lose $282 million in the economy. And the cost has gone up from 2014 now to complete it from $706 million to $973 million. If it's delayed 5 years, which the current funding would do, it would cost us over $1 billion in additional funding. You can see we came up with our funding from the state portion. It's a 75-25 match. We came up with that a couple of years ago. We've had to come up with another $35 million now this year. That's in this year's budget because of the cost of the delays due to the federal government's not funding their portion. So this is just a resolution asking all of our congressional members to take note and to respond accordingly.
I think it's a great thing. It's something that we've been working on for a long time, and I think everybody realizes how important the port is. At the proper time, since there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to do pass. Have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Any opposed, like sign? Mr. Chairman, you have your resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it. Busy day. Thank y'all for being here, and we are adjourned. I'm telling you.